Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? I hope you're all fit and well. Anyone else get the impression that weekends are getting shorter? I finished emptying my suitcase on Saturday before doing just a bit of work. Did a bit of tidying up in the back garden yesterday. Blinked. Monday morning again. How the hell does that happen? Missed the whole weekend, I think. Now, a few things before we kick off officially this morning. First of all, my latest weekly column dropped first thing this morning. I'm just going to get to the right place because I can actually share it with you. There we go. It's in the chat now. Yes, my latest weekly column. It's called What a Waste, and it's all about how demolition and construction industry allows valuable skills and experience to just leave the industry through retirement. You can read it using the link in the chat. Now, I'm not the person to judge because obviously articles are my babies, but apparently, it's gone down rather well because it's prompted one reader in Australia to pledge $150 a year to support my Demolition Insider website. To be absolutely honest with you, I didn't even know you could do that. I've got to check it out. I mean, I've just had a message this morning to say that somebody has donated 150 Australian dollars for Demolition Insider. I don't know whether I struck a nerve or whether it's an accumulation of things over the years, but either way, I'm very grateful. Neil, if you're watching, thank you. Don't know what to do with that, but thank you anyway. Second thing I wanted to let you know was it's going to be a short week this week, 4-day week. There will be no show on Friday. I repeat, there will be no show on Friday because I am flying to Germany, some ungodly hour that day, to attend the World Rallycross Championships with those fine folks at Volvo and to talk about all things electric machines. So please mark that in your diary. I will say it for the third and final time. There is no show on Friday. Now, without further ado, let me roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road. It is Monday, the 14th of August. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, there's a big bang in Michigan. Collins Earthworks rewards an operator with a customised Volvo excavator. Rhodar is picture perfect at Wigan Galleries. Plus, we're off to Jamaica. Yes, Jamaica, to see what a Caterpillar customer makes of their new 320 GX excavator. We're going to get to all of that in just a second. But first, let's peer back through the mists of time to see what was happening on this day in history. On this day in 1498, Christopher Columbus landed at the mouth of the Orinoco River in what is now Venezuela. No idea what it was in 1498, but it is now Venezuela. In 1862, Abraham Lincoln received the first group of African Americans to officially meet with a US president. In 1945, Japan surrendered unconditionally to end the Second World War on what is now known as VJ Day, or Victory in Japan Day. In 1985, Michael Jackson bought the rights to most of the Beatles' back catalogue for $47 million. 10 years later, he sold half of them to Sony for $150 million. Nice work if you can get it. And on this day in 2016, tennis star and all-round cheerful Charlie, Andy Murray, won Olympic gold in Rio de Janeiro. Now, before we get into the real meat of the show, let me remind you of that question of the day. Yeah, nice easy one for you today. What is your favourite thing to place between two slices of bread? Personally, I love bacon, I love sausage, but I'd have to say my go-to sandwich of choice remains exactly the same as it was when I was a kid. Cheese, cheddar cheese, Branston pickle. I go back to it time and time again. What about you? Let us know in the chat. What is your favourite sandwich filling? Now, let's get on with the show, shall we? And we're going to start this week with a big bang, all the way from the city of Holland in Michigan, in the good old US of A. Get a load of this. That was the James de Young power plant in the city of Holland in Michigan, being sent to meet its maker. Even though they're a blight on the landscape and even though they belch noxious smoke into the sky, can't help thinking this show is going to be a bit less cool when all the fossil fuel power stations are gone. It's a minor cross I have to bear.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's DJ Go Ham. You are watching The Breakfast Show.
Wigan and Jamaica. So similar in so many ways. Well, we're visiting both on today's show, but in the interest of convenience, we're going to start in Wigan with an update from those fine folks at Rhodar.
We're here today in the heart of Wigan Town Centre on the Wigan Galleries regeneration site. Rhodar are undertaking the demolition and associated works package on this 41,000 metre square footprint site. We started our works in September 2022 and we're now midway through our 18-month demolition programme.
The Galleries is an 8-acre site situated in the heart of Wigan Town Centre. It was purchased by Wigan Council in 2018 as a strategic investment opportunity. It is Wigan's flagship regeneration project in terms of scale and ambition.
Formerly, the Galleries site consisted of shopping areas, market hall areas and a large multi-storey car park. The buildings were built at different times and employed a whole range of different construction methods. So the demolition techniques that we're using are also wide and varied, from mechanical to hand demolition techniques.
We are demolishing most of the buildings as these are complicated structures which don't lend themselves to repurposing. The purpose of the redevelopment is to revitalise the wider town centre through the investment and improvement in a new mix of uses. The development will comprise of a range of residential, leisure, retail and commercial uses, as well as a new landscaped public square for events and performances.
Our works will be completed over a 6-phase programme. Phase 1, the Market Gate Shopping Centre. Phase 2, a cut-through of a linking section. Phase 3, the Galleries Shopping Centre and car park. Phase 4, the Main Street retail units. Phase 5, the former supermarkets. And Phase 6, the indoor market and clock tower. A site of this scale needs a large team, and we have up to 50 operatives working on this phase of the demolition.
So on this site we're operating various types of machines, excavators, dumpers, brocks, the bigger machines from 170 tonne down to 3.5 ton machines. So currently behind me you can see the Wigan 950 doing mechanical demolition of the former Galleries shopping centre, using different types of attachments, pulverisers, crackers, breakers. We also have smaller machines with breakers breaking out structural beams. We bring in diamond saw cutters to flush cut between this building and the one where the iReach is working. We've actually installed a protective tunnel for the public to access from Market Street into the Makinson Arcade.
As demolition contractor, Rhodar have worked creatively and flexibly to deal with constraints across what is a very complicated site. The site is heavily constrained by operational businesses on all sides, highways, and Rhodar have been fantastic in working with those constraints to deliver the project as efficiently and effectively as possible.
We have various challenges on site working adjacent to Grade 2 listed buildings, the arcade. The lads have to go up doing a hand demolition using small lightweight breakers, accessing it by mupes and pulling the walls into the building rather than damaging the existing structures.
We've been actively engaging with the local community here in Wigan, aiming to have a positive impact on the community in which we're working. We've supported local church groups, charities and youth organisations, as well as offering local employment opportunities for both site and office-based staff. We also have 2 of our youngest employees on this site currently undertaking the Demolition Apprenticeship Scheme.
The development process is really important in allowing us to capture the embodied carbon of the old buildings, and this is being achieved through the reuse and recycling of material on site. For example, push material is being used to bring up the levels on the site to create a development platform for all the new buildings coming forward. The demolition also unlocks the opportunity for a low-carbon district heat network to be installed in the ground.
On a project like this, sustainability is really important, and we're aiming to reuse or recycle a really high percentage of material. For example, we've reclaimed 10,000 roof slates for reuse, reclaimed 1,000 tonnes of mixed metals, 60,000 tonnes of brick and concrete hardcore for reuse on and off-site, as well as recycling timber, plasterboard and waste oils. As sections of this project are completed, parts of site will be handed back to the client for them to start the construction phase of the regeneration. We look forward to seeing the exciting vision for this project being realised over the coming months and years.
Yeah, I have to say hats off to the team at Rhodar on that fantastic job. As Dan Cullens just said, morning Dan, great work, Rhodar. Yeah, absolutely great work. One of the things I found interesting about that was the mention of embodied carbon. A local authority, or a client at least, taking recycled material to be a benefit embodied carbon wise. Maybe a few more should do that. Now, I promised you all a trip to Jamaica. Not physically, but but I'm a man of my word, so stick around. We'll be right back after this. Over the 3 years this show has been running in its current format, we've travelled across the globe to bring you the latest and greatest demolition and construction footage. But as far as I can recall, we've never previously visited Jamaica, the home of reggae, red stripe, ackee and saltfish, and of course, the ganja. Well, it's high time. High time. Ganja? Never mind. It's high time that we put all of that right. And what better way to do that than in the company of one Irie excavator? Get me, Irie excavator from Caterpillar.
Stewart Development and Services Limited, we're one of the leading development companies in central Jamaica, and we're responsible for a variety of housing projects. So we do low-income housing, townhomes, and we do some contracts in addition to dream homes as well. That's a personal favorite of mine. So the reason why we chose the 320GX is because it was an affordable option, and because of its size, it was able to fit into small areas and do a lot of work. So that made it a very versatile and viable option for us.
Our Caterpillar 320GX model is an excavator that offers low fuel costs, low maintenance costs, and low price point. We achieved the lower price point based on the features, the standard features that's required for the market, and eliminating the features that's not required for the market. So with that, the owner operating cost for the customer is less.
Well, we have got backhoes in the past, but this is our first excavator, so we're loving it so far. We've used it at places like, for example, we have a site at Moreland, so we use it for mostly site preparation, and we use it for contracts as well. For example, like we're doing right here, we're excavating more, so if they like to do that, we could help them to do that, and for site preparation as well, digging, any kind of work they like to do. The machine itself is very efficient and it's very reliable and effective, so we're able to get a lot of work output. Having it is a lot cheaper than to get somebody else to do it, so it's a lot more cost effective. A lot of the times you don't know what you're getting when you're outsourcing somebody. For us, we just have to worry about fuel consumption, that's about it, and maintenance costs as well. So it comes out to be a lot cheaper for us, so we're able to do our jobs a lot more effectively.
So the biggest challenges in Jamaica now is resources, you know, having the right products, having the right skilled labor to do this type of construction. One of the next challenges is competition. There's a lot of competition in the market, especially in construction. Cost escalation is also a challenge where cost of materials gone up. This is due to COVID. Post-COVID, we have seen logistics, freight costs going up, materials taking longer to get here, stuff like that. So it really impacts these projects.
In terms of fuel costs, it hasn't been bad because we're able to do 4 days of work at an average of 8 hours a day. So the fuel efficiency is pretty good. In terms of maintenance, it's a lot more reliable than your typical excavator. But as I said, we haven't really had an excavator before, so we don't really have a baseline to compare it to. So our operator says that it's very responsive and it's very effective, and he's able to get a lot of work done with it than usual excavators, so he loves it. Our operator usually alternate between power mode and smart mode, so when the work is a little less demanding, he'd switch to smart mode to save a bit more fuel. Power mode is there as well whenever he would need it, so if the work is more demanding and he needs more engine output, then he could switch to that mode.
So one major feature of the 320GX model is the smart mode, and that smart feature enables the machine to operate at low RPM when not needed, if you're doing in idle time or if you're doing small jobs, and ramps up when you need to move the major stuff, move major materials out of the way, stuff like that.
I would definitely recommend it. It's a very good product, and we're the first company to bring it to the market in Jamaica, so we're a proud owner, so we can vouch for it and say that it's a very good machine, and I'd recommend it to any developer out there who wants to do even major projects or any kind of scale development. And if the opportunity presents itself, we'd definitely like to invest in more machines.
I can think of worse places to operate an excavator. Maybe that should be a question of the day. Where in the world would you like to operate a machine? Let me know in the chat. The beach in Barbados would be quite nice. Just saying. Let's have a look. Now, I must admit, I've been typing while that was going on. Al Grissom says, Jesus, that counterweight. Was it over large? Was it gouged all to hell? I didn't notice. Dan Cullen, that cage be hard to see out of. unfortunately, if you want to protect your operator, maybe that's the way forward. You have to get up early to find a fault with the Cat 320 range of any excavator in any application, says Mick Norton. Good morning, Mick. And that sticker on the door glass is bang in the way too, says Jim Turner. I need to pay more closer attention to these things rather than sitting here typing as I'm going along. Right, it is time to move along. And I think we should be doing one of these.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
How do you reward a loyal operator? Well, in the case of Collins Earthworks, you hand in the keys to a new Volvo EWR 170E, tricked out with all mod cons, including an Encon tilt rotator and quick coupler, a two-piece boom suspension, super single wheels, trailer hitch and brake circuit, a Volvo 360-degree camera system, a luxury seat, comfort drive controlled steering, and light bars and additional LED lighting for front, sides and rear. This is what it looks like.
William Goldstone, where I work for Collins Earthworks. It's a Collins machine, but it's mine. I'm the driver, so it's nice to have your own machine. Since I started, I've just been a rubber duck driver, so a bit of everything really. Small earthworks bits of civils work, infrastructure work, everything. We cover everything. I worked on the East Midlands Gateway project, then I'm currently on the Northampton Gateway project. So my last machine was another Volvo 170. The machine before that was a Volvo 160 rubber duck, and that's all my Volvos so far. That's covered me for 5 years. They've been fantastic. I've never really had any serious issues. It's always been something that's like just a small issue. So I spent quite a few hours on the last machine, and that was another custom machine from another driver. So this is 4.5 years of spending time on the last machine, and then be able to have a bit more capability here and there where I thought I lacked it in the last machine. So the whole machine is specially spec'd, to be fair. So I've got a full light bar package with extra beacons all over the machine. So there's 21 work lights on the machine, and then there's another 2 to go on. Flotation tyres on. Should give them more capability for on and off-road. So as soon as you get off-road, you're not going to struggle anywhere. New Encon tilt rotator that we had on to all top bottom with a high flow attachment, so we can run flails and breakers, and if we ever wanted to do it. There is a lot of other things on the machine, but it's a very, very long list. We took the jack legs off to reduce a bit of the weight as well. So this is the back of the machine. We took the jack legs off the back and swapped the blade from the front to the back for towing our trailer. Then it also means that if it's on the back, that blade can now move up and down to pick the trailer up. So this is going to be a lot safer option for us. And then we got the trailer braking system now as well from Volvo, which is a new thing that they offer. And then that's all fed into a quick connector. So it's literally just a case of going to jump out, pull the quick upper off, and that's it. We can carry on working. Everything we've done is to try and make the machine a lot more versatile, and I'm looking forward to getting it back on some roadworks, even just sometimes on a bit of loose Type 1 or loose stone or anywhere. The tyres are going to help quite a bit, so I'm actually looking forward to just getting back on the project I'm on now. The new seat's lovely. They've upgraded the seat, I think. Even with a heated and air-cooled seat, you can now change like the temperature of the heat in the seat, and then you can change the power of the fan for the cooling in the seat, and that's a really nice feature. And it is nice to have somewhere comfortable to sit. It is important for operator comfort. So everything's integrated. Literally anything you can think of, I can get it into the joysticks now. So, and the way Volvo is set out, everything for Volvo is set out there anyway, sat by the sides of you. So everything is a lot simpler now. If you're speccing it for yourself and try and do it the best for your work, then you want it to all be sort of exactly the way you want things. So had to have a custom set of joysticks done because of the vertical roller, and it's worth every penny and all the effort of doing it. So yeah, I'm very happy, very happy with it.
And if that doesn't make a loyal operator even more loyal, I don't know what will. My gripe of the day is either specific to me and the residents of Epsom, or it is a universal issue. Let me know. The target of my ire today is my local dump. There was a time when you could fill your car boot full with the entire contents of your house and just heave the whole lot through a window at the tip. Not any longer. These days, it's more like a nuclear facility or bullion storage depot. You have to breach top levels of security before you can dump as much as a cardboard box. So I went to my local dump 3 or 4 weeks ago and I was asked for some form of ID. I can only assume that Surrey doesn't want lower class waste coming in from Kent or, God forbid, South London. I showed them my driver's license and I was given a sticker to place inside my car's windscreen for easier identification in the future. That will make life easier, I thought. Yesterday, I visited the dump again and was again stopped at the gate where I was given the third degree about what I was planning to dispose of. It was a mix of garden waste, some general domestic rubbish, and the remnants of an inflatable hot tub. This caused the man on the gate to raise his eyebrows if I just confessed that my car boot contained human remains, but he allowed me through anyway. Now, my local tip, much like any, is divided into about a dozen bins, one for paper and cardboard, one for metals, one for timber. You get the idea. Perhaps not surprisingly, there was no real guidance on which bin would best suit a hot tub. Despite the fact that it weighed a ton and was extremely awkward to move, one of the attendants sent me to the far end where there was a bin marked non-recyclable materials. Seems like a good idea, I thought. I was halfway through lifting the hot tub into the bin when I was stopped. That has a plug on it, said the man. It belongs in electrical. The electrical bin was about as far away as it was possible to be, but I dragged it down there just to keep the peace. I told you that was non-recyclable, said the first attendant, who clearly thought I was deliberately holding this thing about for the good of my health. Your colleague said it was electrical because it has a plug on it. Never mind what he says. I told you it goes in non-recyclable. Hot, sweaty, and increasingly pissed off, I said, okay, but this is the last time. I'm not dragging this up and down all day. I was halfway back to the non-recyclable area when I was stopped once again. This time, I didn't even wait. I just dumped it where I stood and told the guy to fight it out with his colleague. I jumped in the car and I left. For all I know, the pair of them are still arguing about it this morning as we speak. Anyway, that's my gripe of the day. I'd love to hear yours. What is it that grinds your gears, gets your goat, and generally butters your proverbial parsnips? The daily gripe therapy session will return probably tomorrow because I seem to find something to complain about virtually every day. That pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, and have a good day. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll see you after this final word from our key show sponsor, For the Craic. Bear with me 2 ticks. I'm just trying to go live over on Instagram. That seems to be going well. Good morning, one and all. Let's go back to the start of the chat. I'm going to fire up the music here on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. You can't hear it over on Instagram, but trust me, it's very good. Right back to the very beginning of the chat. I'm fairly sure Ken Hatcher was first off the mark this morning. Good morning, Ken. How are you doing? You've got some rain. We had a bit of rain first thing, but it's bright and sunny now, which is just as well because my wife and my son have just headed on into that London. Going to go for a day of sightseeing and eating, I think. Dan Cullen's in the house as well. Morning, Dan. Hope you're fitting well, my friend. Thank you very much indeed for being here. As always, lots of people going through the chat on Instagram. Just to let you know, Instagram, there is a show going on over on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube. If you'd like to join that, you can. It's over on, just go to facebook.com/Demolition News and you can see what it's all about. The show's actually been running for half an hour now, and you've missed all the videos. So try and join us over there if you possibly can. Dan Carl says, how was your weekend? Blinked and missed it, Dan, if I'm being completely honest. As I said at the very top of the show, and don't forget what I also said at the top of the show, no show on Friday, so please mark that in your diary. yeah, I had a bit of work to do on Saturday afternoon, which was writing the column that's apparently earned me $150. Who the hell knew? I did that on Saturday. I also finished emptying my suitcase after my trip to Sorrento, and then did a bit of work in the garden yesterday, went up the dump, and then all of a sudden it was Monday again. Don't know where these weekends go. Let's have a look what we got here. Gary Muirhead. Morning, Mark, and morning, gang. Good morning to you, Gary. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, as you always do. You're very welcome, sir. There is Craig Williams. Good morning, all from CSW Groundworks. I had a good chat with Craig on Thursday last week, I think it was. Very interesting backstory. If you ever get a chance to have a chat with Craig, do so. Smashing fella, interesting backstory. Near-death experience and all sorts. Glad he's still around. Mark Whiting's here as well. Morning, Mark. Didn't see you arrive in the chat, so I didn't get to press your button, but good morning anyway. Tristan Mays, if anybody wants to know anything whatsoever about cranes and why they're so dull, he is your man. He is your man over at cranehub.net. Go check it out. Chris Ford's here as well. What's a 4-day week? I seem to be doing quite a few of those at the moment. Through travel arrangements and stuff. Now I'm literally due. I think I'm supposed to be at Heathrow Airport at 5 o'clock on Friday morning. So obviously I won't be able to do the show. I will be probably touching down in Hamburg at the time that I should be doing this. So no, I won't be around on Friday. But hopefully, all things being equal, if the weather is kind, and it looks like it's going to be, when I get back on Monday and Tuesday next week. Next week. Should have lots of nice footage from Volvo and from the World Rallycross Championships. One of the things, and I say this so often, but I do have a nice new camera to do these things with. I really do want, on this occasion, to take you on the journey with me. So I'm planning to split the whole thing up into various parts. I want to come back with films on the electric machines, interviews and all that kind of thing. But I also want to do a standalone film that is basically taking you from here, from the grand studios of the Breakfast Show to Heathrow to Hamburg to the Rallycross Championships, around the pit area. I really want to take you along and show you the sights and sounds. So look out for that. I think it's going to be a good one. Who else have we got here? Graham Footy Williams is here as well. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, Graham. Thank you very much indeed for being here. I hope you're fitting well, my friend. There is a link to this week's column. It actually is called What a Waste, not a W full stop STE. It's What a Waste, and it is about mentorship and all of that kind of stuff. As I say, completely unaware. We're producing some of this longer form content on a platform called Substack. Won't bore you with the details, but trying not to break up the flow of things on Demolition News. So we've started to put things over on Substack on a column called Demolition Insider. We've been doing it for a couple of months now. We sent out the latest one, and lo and behold, I had a notification first thing this morning to say that somebody in Australia has pledged $150 to support the channel. I don't know why. I don't know what nerve I've hit to prompt them to do that, but I'm very, very grateful. I have to say, it gives me a very warm and fuzzy feeling. Obviously, I get paid to do these things. I get paid to write articles and stuff. But the very fact that somebody, just a reader, has decided, actually, I like this bloke so much, or this bloke's stuff so much, I'm going to just send him $150. I don't even know what the conversion rate is. It might be £3.50. I honestly don't know, but it gives me a nice warm feeling. So thank you very much indeed for that, Neil. Really appreciate it. Jim Turner is in the house. Morning, Jim. Thank you for being here. So, my question of the day. I was struggling this morning. I overslept slightly. So my question of the day today is, what is your favourite sandwich filling? Now, over the years, I've had many nice things in sandwiches. I'm a particular fan of pastrami on rye bread, the American style. Do like me a bacon sarnie. Do like me a sausage sarnie as well. Lots and lots of things that I like in between two slices of bread. There is a place called the Crab Shack down in Worthing, near where my parents used to live, and they do I think it's £7.50, so it needs to be good, but they do a crab sandwich which is about half a pound of crab. The damn thing is like this. You have even my big gob has trouble making room for it. It's a fantastic sandwich, but when push comes to shove, I do find myself reverting to the sandwich that I've enjoyed since I was a wee boy. Cheddar cheese, don't care what it is, cheddar cheese and Branston pickle. And I also don't care whether it's white or brown bread either. That's my favourite. Let me know what yours is. Graham Williams says, bring back some goodies from Volvo. If there are goodies to be had, trust me, I'll be bringing back goodies. But don't forget, Graham, you're an absolute star for reminding me indirectly. Not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. So whatever date that is, I can't actually figure that out. But whatever Wednesday week is, we will be hosting an evening show, 7 p.m. in the evening. And we're going to be giving away an absolute ton of Kinsoffer branded gear. We've got backpacks, we've got hats of every variety, we've got high-vis jackets, all sorts. So mark that in your diary. Wednesday week, 7 o'clock over on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn. Keep an eye out for that. Ken Hatcher says, question of the day, Tesco cheese and onion filler. I've never tried the cheese and onion one. If I'm going for a sandwich filler, I'm all about the seafood. All about the seafood, which I think is largely made up of Thousand Island dressing and crab sticks. I have no issue with that. I like a crab stick. I realise they've never actually formally met a crab, but they taste nice. I don't have a problem with that. Gary Muirhead says, ham, cheese and pickle on white bread. It's a good choice. Listen, I like ham, but cheese and pickle will do me just nicely. I tell you the other one that I really like, which I had last week, corned beef. Corned beef and either pickle, or if I'm feeling really, really fruity, brown sauce. Brown sauce and corned beef in a sandwich. Take some beating. Al Grierson has apparently made it all the way back from the UK, which he was visiting over the weekend, all the way to Luxembourg. Good morning to you, Al. Thank you very much indeed for being here, and hope you had a good time in the UK. Hope we didn't charge you too much for everything, although I guess we probably did. He actually joined the show just as that James DeYoung power station was coming down over in the city of Holland in Michigan. Perfect timing, Al, as always. Craig Williams says, great clip. Was that the perfect drop? It was pretty close. If ever you want to see the perfect drop, go over to YouTube and search for Chimney Clash. Chimney as in chimney, Clash as in the band. And it was one that I'm fairly sure it was Brown and Mason did up at the Cockenzie power station. Two chimneys come together and merge as one. That, in my opinion, is the perfect drop. Nailed it. Yes, they most certainly did. Rhodar, nice collection of Hitachis. Yeah, absolutely. Did wonder about the high ridge on that. Was that a Rhodar high ridge, or was that somebody else's with a big white sticker on it? Couldn't quite work it out. If anybody knows. Mick Norton's here as well. Morning, Mick. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Mick has actually sent me one of his own articles this morning. Didn't have a chance to read it before I came on air, but I'm planning to pour myself a large cup of tea after the show, and I'm going to go and read it, because just by sheer coincidence, he too is talking about mentorship, although I think in this instance it was his own mentorship back in the day. Looking forward to reading that. Great work, Rhodar, says Dan Cullen. Yeah, absolutely. Al Grierson says, was that a Cat D or C series over in Jamaica? He then figured out it was a D. I think they were very well received. Certainly were over there. But he then says, Jesus, that counterweight. I didn't spot anything with the counterweight, so I asked the question, and Al goes on to say, the bottom of the counterweight seemed to be bare metal already. Maybe it was a trick of the light along with the dust. As soon as the show is over, I'm going to go and have a look again, because I didn't notice. Mick Norton says you have to get up early to find a fault with the Cat 320 range of any excavator in any application. Couldn't argue with that. Let's have a look. Bounce like hell on flotation tyres. Yes, I've actually driven a couple of excavators on flotation tyres. It's verging on seasickness, you get the feeling after a while. That big lad, who I think was Will Goldsworth, somebody like that, who was on the Volvo EWR 170E and was up at Sibbertoft with the duck the other week. Certainly gets around, because that shot, or most of that was shot at Plantworks. Well done, Will, says Craig. Lovely Volvo, super high spec too. Yeah, it really was. It was almost a case of, what extras would you like? What have you got? Seem to have all of them. 21 working lights. Do we really need 21 working lights? It looks fantastic, though, I have to say. Jim Turner says, question of the day. Hot, it's black pudding or sausage. Cold, it's coronation chicken. Coronation chicken. Oh, I do love me a coronation chicken. That is my go-to. If I find myself stopping, there's a, what do they call them? A wild bean cafe at a Marks and Spencer's. I don't know who owns the petrol station. I never really pay attention to that. But there's a Marks and Spencer's wild bean cafe thing just up the road to me. And if I literally can't be asked to make myself a sandwich, which happens way too often, coronation chicken is my go-to at the wild bean cafe. Question day: anything but this ham that I'm chewing on. When did you start? When did you start chewing on it? Hamburg is lovely if you get to spend some time there. So the plan for my weekend is we arrive on first thing on Friday morning. We are staying in Hamburg actually, but the racetrack is about 50 minutes away. So the plan basically is to arrive in Hamburg. I just want to say good morning to Tiago, who is just joined us on Instagram from Brazil. And our friend over at Life Behind the Leaders is also in the house as well. Good morning to you guys. So yes, arrive first thing in Hamburg, off to the racetrack for what I believe is the practice round. And then on Saturday, it's the actual race itself, and getting to spend some time with the Volvo people and talking about electric machines, because there'll be some on display there. And then first thing on Sunday morning, I'm coming back to the UK, hopefully to sit down and start editing some videos, and also to write Monday's column for next week. See if I can bag myself another $150, shall we? Nice beach sandwich, beef sandwich I'm going to go at with horseradish sauce. Yeah, horseradish. Do like me a bit of horseradish. Question 5. Fillet American steak, steak tart. Hang on a minute. Filet Americain steak tartare in English. In a sandwich? Really? Is that a thing? No, I mean, I like a steak tartare, but not in a sandwich? Maybe I'm missing out. Bacon and lime marmalade on rye. I like bacon. I like lime marmalade. Together? Let's have a look. Blue cheese and horseradish. Blue cheese and horseradish. That sounds like an abomination, but it's one of those things that might just work. You never know. Hi there. Just want to say hi and greetings from Bavaria. That is Kinsoffer. Kinsoffer, who will be indirectly the host of our show on Wednesday evening next week. Not this week, but next week. I've already mentioned we've got a whole array of goodies from the fine folks at Kinsoffer, and we plan to give away almost all of them. There's a couple of bits and pieces in the box that I quite like myself. I'm going to hang on to those, but the rest of it we will be giving away. So please, if you are around on Wednesday week, 7 p.m. in the evening, please make sure you pay attention, because there's going to be lots and lots of stuff to be given away, and all needs to go to a good home, as Kinsoffer have been kind enough to provide it all the way from Bavaria. Wouldn't Bavaria be a lovely place to be right now? I know I'm going to Hamburg on Friday, but I'd love to be in Bavaria around about now. I don't do the beer because beer and I do not mix, but the food in Bavaria, it's pretty much second to none. Not much time to comment, says Dan Cullen. As lorry loading, it's a matter of priorities, Dan, and I think you've got your priorities right, absolutely 100%. Now, we will be back. We'll be back here again tomorrow. We'll be back here on Wednesday and Thursday. No show on Friday, as already said, because we are planning to go to the World Rally Cross Championships. Always a pleasure. I hope you have a great time in Hamburg. I will certainly be trying to. Thank you very much indeed to the fine folks at Kinsoffer. I'm guessing that is probably Julia over at Kinsoffer, but I can't be absolutely sure because it's a company account. But Julia, if that's you, good morning. Thank you very much indeed for being here. And thanks for the big box of goodies. The viewers are going to love it. So yes, I've got all that to take care of this week. I'm going to be back tomorrow where we're talking about embodied carbon yet again. Yes, turns out it is Julia. I guessed right. I could tell by your handwriting, Julia, but thank you very much indeed for being here, and thanks again for that big box of goodies. So yes, everybody, please try to join us tomorrow. We're going to have lots more of the same and some other stuff as well. Anybody that thought, and I'm kind of giving the game away, I'm recording a video after this show today. Obviously, we've been reporting quite extensively on the fact that Michael Gove kicked to the curb plans to demolish the Marks and Spencer store in London's Oxford Street. Anybody that thought that that was going to be purely a London thing or purely a one-off, think again, because the folks at Shell, you know, petrol and oil people up in Aberdeen, they've got a 5-story head office up there that they were planning to demolish. No major reasons why they shouldn't, but all of a sudden somebody's mentioned embodied carbon, and all of a sudden the whole thing has been put into abeyance. So we'll be trying to figure out how that one's going to pan out. So yes, please join us tomorrow where I'll be telling you more about that and a whole bunch of other stuff besides. If you haven't already done so, please go and have a look at my weekly column for the day, which is, I'm just going to post the link in the chat. There you are. Mick Norton says, the last time I was in Hamburg was to take my then 14-year-old daughter to see Bros. She fainted during the warm-up, so missed the show entirely. Wow. See, but that does show, that shows the commitment. I took my daughter to see her favourite band of all time, little-known band called the King Blues, who were, in their day, absolutely superb. Sat somewhere between punk and ska, very shouty, but I like a bit of ska. So took her to see them on multiple occasions. We actually saw them once. We saw them 3 times in a single day at the Glastonbury Festival back in 2009, I think it was. But they were playing in Barcelona. Now, I don't need much prompting to go to Barcelona. So when she said the King Blues are playing in Barcelona, we booked tickets and we flew over there. What I didn't realise was that the King Blues were playing in the back end of Barcelona. Yeah, I didn't go to the gig. I don't know why. I probably should have done that. Would have been a whole lot safer. But I ended up in a bar, and the bar was basically wall-to-wall Hell's Angels. And I consider myself to be fairly worldly wise. There were times that evening where I didn't really didn't think I was going to make it out alive. That was one rowdy place. Turns out I made it out alive. She had a great time. Got to see her favourite band. So more dad points. That's all it was, dad points. If ever you get a chance to check out the King Blues, go and take a look. Go over to YouTube, the King Blues. As I say, shouty, punky and ska influenced. There is a song they do called The Last of the Dreamers. A personal favourite of mine. Go and have a look. Glad you survived. Yeah, my daughter was quite glad I survived because I was her route home. Yeah, no, it was good fun. Good fun all round. Right, people, go and have a fantastic day, particularly you, Julia. Everybody, look after yourselves, your family, friends and your colleagues. I'll be back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. for more of whatever the hell all of this is. Until then, everybody, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all very soon. All the best.